Hi, everybody.
I'm still giggling.
Yeah, you are. She's giggling because this is season 2.
Yay!
Yeah, we're doing season 2. Thanks everybody for when we were in season 1 supporting us, listening. Unless this is your first time listening, in which case, welcome.
This is the Honey Gaspar podcast.
It
I'm
is.
Brynn.
And I'm Dan. And Brynn was laughing because I'm not just gonna let that go.
Oh, okay. Well, so in preparation for our first episode of season 2, Dan spent like an hour this afternoon
It felt like more, but I mean, you were watching the time, I was not. So if it
yeah,
was
well,
about an
it
hour,
was about an hour. You
okay.
were doing research and writing.
I put away the Facebook.
I know you were like really working hard.
Mm-hmm.
And about 5 minutes ago, you said, "Are you ready to do this?" And I said, "Yeah, I just need to do some research." And you were like, "What? Do you want to do this another night?" And I was like, "No, I'm good."
Right.
And now I have 3 notes on a piece of paper, and hopefully that's fine.
I equate our style to if you ever watched SNL in the Fred Armisen, Kristen Wiig years, they would do a character on Weekend Update called Garth and Kat, and I'm her Seth Meyers to I'm
Yeah,
I'm
you're Seth Meyers to my
her,
Kat and Garth.
Yeah, Garth and Kat.
No, Weekend Update.
Weekend Update.
Basically, if you hadn't seen it, it's like they were not prepared, and Seth got frustrated every single time, but then he kept having them on, and they were never prepared, and it was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how our life is.
That's pretty much how that goes. So, I think you said that you're going to go first today, right? No. We decided, yeah. I'm going to go first.
No, I won the toss. I'm going first.
Okay, I'm sorry. I couldn't remember.
Oh,
okay.
Well, I'm sorry if I looked confused. Yeah, no, I was planning on going first.
Okay, yeah. All right, here we go. So, take it away.
Okay, so recently I got a new car.
What?
Yeah, yeah, no,
yes.
You were there.
I was there.
Your name is on the title. It's ours.
It's ours.
So I've been driving a relatively new car.
Mm-hmm.
When we drove her off the lot, she had, 8 miles on her?
3.
Yeah, not a lot.
Oh, wait, for the test drive, she had 3.
Yeah, I think she had 8 when we signed the papers.
Yeah.
In any case, she's new.
Yeah, that's a humble brag, by the way.
No, so one of the things that you don't think about until you have a new car is, you want to keep it new for as long as you can.
Oh, how much anxiety are you going to give me?
None. No, I haven't heard it at all. Oh gosh, I just killed Dan. No, on the first nice day since I had it, so we got it in mid-January.
Yeah.
On the first nice day, I was like, I should have this car washed. I don't want it to get rusty.
Oh yeah, understandable. Yeah, okay.
We live in upstate New York. That's a legitimate concern.
Yeah, salt exists.
So I left work and drove across the street to the gas station that has a car wash. And there was a line because it was the first day that was above 40 degrees. So I went inside and got something to eat and then came out and got in the line to get my car washed. Well, I don't know the last time you got your car washed there, but they've added, so there's options. You can do a touchless car wash or a soft touch car wash.
Touchless being it's all just spray. Soft touch being that it has
like the foamy looking flappy do things, right?
Foamy looking flappy do.
Yes.
FL
Stop.
FD.
Stop. So so now there are options. And I'm creeping closer and closer and I think, which one's better? Well, no, really. Is there science behind which kind of car wash I should do for the kind of car that I have?
So I'm going to ask now. Tell me after you're all done, because I think I know where you're going with this. Tell me if you're all done, if you had buyer's remorse after you were all done. Okay.
Okay.
So, okay. All right.
So I got out my trusty smartphone and I Googled it. And that's where, so I had done this research weeks ago. So really I was just refreshing earlier when I did this.
Sure. Okay.
No, but I had done enough research to make myself feel comfortable weeks ago.
Okay.
So that's why I felt I only needed 5 minutes today.
And 3 lines apparently on the sheet of paper.
Yeah.
So, okay.
It's fine. So anyway, there are people who believe one thing and people who believe another thing. Like anything, that there are choices.
Right.
The universally agreed upon thing is the best type of car wash for your car, no matter what kind of car you have, how old or new, what size, any of it. Universally, experts agree, hand washing your car is the best thing for your car.
Okay.
You can control the pressure, you can control, you're less likely to use super strong chemicals, you're more likely to wax it thicker, those kind of things.
If
when you're
there's
doing
any
it by hand.
if there's any little spots that, like, bird droppings or anything that just won't come out, you can pay extra attention to those. Using less water. Did you mention that?
No, but that's another
Yeah,
thing.
another
Yeah.
thing, using less
Though
water. Yeah.
more and more of the automated car washes are getting better about their water consumption.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's just worth saying. Like, don't feel bad if you go and get an automatic car wash. Like, they are getting better about their water consumption. But that was not an option that day.
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely going to go through the car wash.
Mm-hmm.
I checked out 2 different websites, carwashworld.com/AU, meaning Australia.
Okay.
And detaildiy.com. Both of these sites seem to lean the same way, and that is pro touchless.
Okay, that's not what I would have gone with. Okay.
So there are pros and cons to both. Touchless, which is just pressurized water and soap. You can add like a protecting coat, whatever you add, is less likely to scratch, less likely to physically damage anything that's loose. If you've got a loose mirror, if you've got any of those things, they're less likely to be damaged by water.
Sure.
There is more of an option for, like, typically there's an option for, if you pay more, there's a protectant coat that you can add.
Yeah.
Which is something they highly recommend.
Okay, they do recommend that then.
They do.
I will say it. That's always something that I thought, like, like what protecting coat.
So if there is like minuscule scratches, which happens, it's why your car looks dirty. It's got minuscule scratches on it that collect dust.
I didn't think about that. Okay, yeah.
It will help fill those in so you can go longer between car washes. So a protectant coat or a wax seal coat help fill in those minuscule scratches so that you can go longer between car washes. So that's the pros. The cons are that if there is a lot of dirt or bugs or caked on mud, a touchless car wash is not going to get those off. In fact, one of the websites, I think the first one, carwashworld.com, they suggested that if you know your car has caked on mud or like a bunch of bird droppings or whatever, to take the time to pull into one of the hand washing stations at car washes, hit those spots and at least get them soft, and then go through the car wash. One of the other cons that they give for touchless is that sometimes the chemicals can be really stronger, much stronger than you'd mix yourself. And that if your car has scratches or rust or whatever, it can be more damaging.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But that's like the second recommendation. So the first recommendation is hand wash, and the second recommendation is touchless, with, the pros and cons I gave you. The third recommendation is the one with the brushes. Now, like, there are lots of different types of brush car washes. Like, a long time ago, there were ones you drive through.
Like the flaps, like the curtains.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It's like, they were in cartoons in the 90s and stuff. Like, they drive through and the flaps and then, like, the rotators and the...
Okay, so something I always think of when you're talking about this, something I always think of is, like, they had this thing on Family Double Dare. It was like the kid wash.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like the drive-through car wash.
That's the stuff I think of when I think of car washes.
And it's not really like that anymore. They do have those places, but one of the things that, like, one of the reasons why it's ranked down to third is because historically they were a lot more damaging than they are now. Like, now things they've gotten better, but they're still ranked third.
Okay.
Back then, like the brushes were made of nylon. They were more like brushes and less like flaps of material, flappy, whatever I said, foamy, foamy something,
Foamy, flappy, wavering,
something
inflatable arm
bits.
flailing tomb man.
Stop. But yeah, like, so now they're made out of something called Neotex, which is a material that's like what wetsuits are made out of.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not abrasive at all, and they're actually, however, like I said, there are pros and cons, and the cons on that can definitely include that they can be more damaging. They can knock things off of cars if you have like a loose side mirror,
yeah.
or if you've got like a chunk that's really rusted, it
Mm-hmm.
can knock it loose because it's physically touching your car without a human hand behind it. You know what I mean? Like the pressure is machine driven.
Yeah. Okay.
The pros on them are that they provide like a stronger cleaning. If you have dirt built up or those kind of things, it's more likely to get it off.
Right.
There are people who think that it provides a more spot-free shine. You know, like when you get the pressurized water rinsing your car, it's more likely to leave spots, whereas if it's wiped off, it's not.
Yeah.
So those kind of things. But of the three, hand washing is the most recommended, then touchless, then the brush one.
Yeah, and we're like very close to hand washing for free with the kids, so
That's true.
Yeah. We'll pay them a little bit. Like, it won't be just like...
But, like, okay, so you asked me if I had buyer's remorse.
Yes, yeah.
I ended up doing the touchless.
Yeah.
I did the research really quick in the car, and I did see some of, like, the past negative things about, oh, don't do the brushes, it'll scratch your car. And so, of course, I got nervous, and I was like, I'll just do touchless. And I did not the cheapest one. You know, they give them all these funky names, like Supreme and Ultra and all those things, like the different tiers of washing.
Yeah,
and I didn't do like the economy cheap one, but I didn't do like the ultra mega super wash either.
Tricolor foam.
I did do tricolor foam.
Yeah.
But I love the tricolor foam. It smells so good.
You fell to marketing. I don't know. It could be great. I have no idea.
I didn't do any research about the tricolor foam, but it did also include the clear coat protectant, which they do recommend because it fills the micro scratches on it. So that's why your car looks dirty, because you have like the micro scratches on it. So
you just got judged me so hard just then.
No.
Finger. That's why your car looks dirty.
No.
I saw it in your eyes.
It was like the royal you.
The royal you is like a rainbow. You had pointed at me like a skewer.
There are a lot of things about your car we could talk about.
Yeah, there are.
But you know,
it is a white car too, and you know that. Like, it makes sense.
But, like, those micro scratches hold dust, and so...
It makes sense.
Micro abrasions, or whatever they call them, yeah. But...
I may have said that. You may have said something else, but I don't remember.
Whatever.
So, but anyway,
in any case.
I should wash my car more, for sure. And it sounds like I should use this clear coat protectant.
Well, the thing is, if you use the clear coat protectant, you can go longer between car washes, because it keeps the micro abrasions, like, coated. And so they're not holding dust, and so your car doesn't look dirty or dull.
Yeah.
It looks shiny and clean for longer.
It kind of sounds like, especially around here, that if you're not getting that, you're almost wasting your money a little bit.
Well, especially, okay, so the important thing is living in upstate New York like we do. You get salt, you get sand, you get that kind of stuff. And especially as the spring comes on, that stuff is like just on the roads.
Yeah.
And so it gets into your car and it scratches it, and it's important to get your car washed in the spring early, as soon as it's warm enough to.
Yeah.
And then regularly in the spring and early summer.
That's my problem.
To keep your car looking and staying nice, because the micro scratches are less important than like the real scratches that go all the way through the paint into the metal, because that's when you have rust.
Right.
And once it's gotten that far, you can't just like take out your nail polish and fill in the scratch. You can't do that.
I can try.
You cannot, Daniel.
Can I borrow some nail polish?
Daniel.
It's white nail polish. You're never going to use it.
Stop. You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous. So anyway, that's what I learned about car washes.
Well, thank you.
And it may not be interesting to anyone, but I thought it was interesting.
I liked it. I learned something. Like I said, I didn't think I would ever see a need to get the more expensive car washes, but I've been wrong.
Well, and I mean, you're right. So to a point, there's definitely like marketing plays in that. I'm not telling anybody what they do or do not need, but I'm a middle of the road girl. I tend to get the middle of the road washes.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. We're going to take a quick break for a commercial, and we'll be right back. All right. So we're back, and it's my turn now.
Yay.
And I have my notes. Ha! They're ready to go.
Good job.
They are ready. I think I'm just going to jump right into this. Maybe I'll do a slight... Yeah, I'll do a slight nod to one of my favorite podcasts, the Dollop. I'll do a slight nod.
Oh, I love the Dollop.
I'm going to do a slight nod to them.
Okay.
July 7th,
Damn.
1928.
If you woke up the kids, you're dead. That was really loud.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Here we go.
Try again. July 7th.
No.
Too
Done.
late.
Too late. Ruined it.
All right.
You ruined my ode.
I'm putting that on a t-shirt for you.
You ruined my ode. Oh boy. July 7th, 1928. Ernest Gary Gygax was born in Chicago.
That's a name.
It is. He's the son of Almina Emily Posey Burdick and Swiss immigrant and former Chicago Symphony Orchestra violinist Ernst Gygax. He was named Ernst after his father, but was commonly known as Gary.
Oh, that makes sense.
There you go. The middle name was given to him by his mother after the actor Gary Cooper. Okay.
It's because his mother knew he needed a real name, because you can't say
Yeah. Family lived on Kenmore Avenue, which was close enough to Wrigley Field that he could hear the roar of the crowds whenever the Chicago Cubs would play.
Cool.
So, at age 7, he became a member of a small group of friends who called themselves the Kenmore Pirates. They lived on Kenmore Avenue.
Yeah, got it.
But in 1946, so he would have been 8, about 8, the Kenmore Pirates were involved in an altercation with another gang of boys. And Gary's father decided that he was going to move the family to the in-laws' family hometown.
So it must have been like a serious altercation if it required moving.
Well,
I mean, we have an almost 8-year-old who's part of a group of friends. They call themselves something.
Yep.
They like have pretend meetings, and that has to be a heck of an altercation to have to move your whole family.
Right? Okay. So, yeah, he had to move the whole family to Wisconsin from Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay?
Something happened.
Something happened. I don't have the details here. This is from Wikipedia. I have a couple other sources that I'll post, but it's primarily Wikipedia. So, this was a problem because moving from a highly stimulating downtown Chicago to rural Wisconsin takes a toll on the mind of a young man in post-World War II America.
Yeah. No more gang violence.
No more gangs. Took his gang away from him.
Damn, poor kid.
Poor kid. So, Gary was never considered an academic, and so he devoted most of his time to burying himself into sci-fi and fantasy works of Robert Howard, Jack Vance, Fritz Leiber, H.P. Lovecraft, and Edgar Burroughs. He discovered the pulp fiction genre as a young teen, and it continued to immerse himself in these worlds and cultivate his imagination. When his father died in 1956, Gary dropped out of his junior year of high school. Gary. And he joined the Marines.
Oh, that's a good gang.
It's a good gang. Wow.
Good job.
Oh, wow.
I can't believe I got you to agree to that before you even listened.
It was out of my mouth. Oh. All right.
Sorry, Nick.
So, but he was soon medically discharged with walking pneumonia.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
and he moved back in with his mother. He worked as a shipping clerk in an insurance company and was introduced to a strategy board game called Gettysburg.
Okay.
Where players guided military units across a board with hexagon-shaped spaces. They used miniature figures that had different abilities and bonuses if you used in strategically advantageous scenarios. And Gary became obsessed with this game. Okay. So he played once or more per week for many hours at a time, like marathon, like games, like you and your brother would talk about playing Risk. Okay. What? What has happened? What's wrong?
I feel like I know where this is going. Keep going.
What are you worried about?
I'm not worried.
What? You gave me the death look.
No. I was just like trying to figure out where this was going. It was not a death look.
Okay. It seemed like you were.
I maybe I'm judging you a little bit on your nerd culture, but keep going.
Oh, okay. Maybe you do know where I'm going.
I know where you're going. Keep going.
Okay. I'm Visco girling you right now. Nailed it. So, I waited like 10 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I waited like 10 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
In 1967, Gygax co-founded the International Federation of Wargamers
Mm-hmm.
with Bill Spear and Scott Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
So the IVW
IVW.
grew rapidly. IFW, sorry.
Yeah. Federation.
Yeah. Maybe there was German. Maybe it was Federation. You don't know.
Oh gosh, we're a mess.
We
Keep
are.
going.
Grew rapidly, especially by assimilating several pre-existing wargaming clubs, and they aimed to promote interest in war games of all periods. It provided a forum for wargamers via newsletters and societies, which enabled them to form local groups and share rules. Okay, so they would come up with, like you do in Monopoly, like, what are they called? Like home rule, like with the free parking thing.
Like it's like a house rule.
House rule, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah. Each, area would come up with their own house rules for the various games, have their own spin on it, see what they liked. So in 1967, Gygax organized a 20-person gaming meet in the basement of his home. What?
Man, this cool gang guy. He was a Marine. Now he's a nerd playing games in his basement.
20 people.
Yeah, okay, fine.
That's a gang.
I thought he was cool. No, I think he's a nerd. Keep going.
Okay. So, that was in 1967.
Sure.
In 1968, so 1 year later, he rented Lake Geneva's vine-covered horticultural hall for $50, which today's equivalent is about $370, to hold the first Lake Geneva convention, which is also known as Gen Con, which is the Gen Con is now one of North America's largest annual hobby game gatherings. Okay?
Nerd.
Yes.
Nerd alert.
Shame me. So,
man. All right, keep going.
I trust me, this gets more interesting. Trust me. So, Gygax also collaborated on a game with a couple other people, with his contribution being the change to, instead of using just the standard 6-sided dice, he developed what eventually became the 20-sided dice, and he used initially a coffee can with 20 numbered poker chips inside. So you shake it up, pull one out.
Number. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So while playing with these rules and others that I'm skipping for brevity's sake, with friends, he immediately saw the potential for the use in role-playing games.
Yeah, you remember that Death Star stare I gave you?
Yeah, I remember the Death Star too.
The Death Stare that I gave you earlier.
Yeah.
This dude invented Dungeons and Dragons.
He did. Yes, he did.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's what you thought.
That's
yes.
what I thought.
So, he and another guy.
Do I win some sort of prize for guessing?
No.
Okay.
No, you don't. So, the prize comes later because I ended on. You'll get. Yeah. Okay. So, I have another site here that I will post in the description of the video or the podcast. So, it's from www.cbc.ca. It's an article about the developmental uh, benefits of role-playing games on child development. So, um, essentially, for people who don't know, role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons, there's a lot of them. Players create a character and with intricate backstory, and they will roll this 20-sided dice to see how smart or strong or charming that character is. That is all determined by rolls of the dice when you're making your character. You write the history of the character, though. And then one person controls what's going on. They're the game master. Okay, and they basically tell the story and explain to players what they're seeing when they're going through any sort of scenarios. Okay, they also act kind of like a referee when players decide to take actions or interact with each other, or I want to see if I can open this in this chest. I want to see if I can pick this lock. That sort of thing. Okay, so think of it as a game, as a group choose your own adventure book. Okay, so that's kind of how it goes. The with this has a really strong potential for helping kids who aren't able to relate to other people in scenarios in real life, because it requires them to not have to be themselves, but
Right.
then be
It gives them the opportunity to have conversations and interact with other people, but not as themselves. So if they fail, it's just a game.
Exactly. Okay, so the risk is low.
Sure.
So they can experiment, play. If something doesn't go well, not a big deal. And they're learning how to interact with other people with a set of rules. Okay. So I have some quotes here from.
So I think this is where my hang up is with these things.
Okay.
I dislike people.
Oh, well.
Like, I'd rather play The Sims by myself and control everything.
Oh, okay.
It's a control issue too. I have control issues, and I also hate people.
Well, as far as I can tell with everything, the game master's job is to try to kill the players. So maybe that's what you're.
Maybe I should be a game master.
You should. That's what you should do. You control everything and you try to kill the players. That's what you should do. So, I have some quotes here. The ability to imagine, design, and role play a character who has a background from an imaginary universe with its own rule context is immensely sophisticated. Practicing this confers many emotional benefits, including increased empathy skills, negotiation, problem solving, teamwork, and social maneuvering. These are all immensely valuable skills in the adult world as well as for children.
Yeah, those are huge skills. And those are skills that are hard to teach adults who have not learned them.
Yes, exactly. It's not something you can just read a book and learn. You have to practice it.
How to be empathetic for dummies.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't work.
No.
And also, too, when creating the person who's running the game, their job is to help guide players and be like, oh, everybody else is kind of doing these other things. It would be helpful to everybody, to the team, if you did this sort of role, took on this sort of role as a character. And so they will then set up challenges that the team has to use each of their skills individually to get through the challenges.
As an educator, like I'm thinking about that through these eyes now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can see how these kind of games can be really important in middle grades, especially.
Mm-hmm.
That's where lines of communication shut down. That's where friendships change. People are growing at different rates, and I can see where, like what you just said, I can see where that's super important, because the age of regular imaginative play is kind of gone.
Yes.
And so you need like the trappings of a game.
Yes.
To allow yourself the imaginative play, to learn the skills, to connect with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
So, yes, to go along with exactly what you just said, teachers are actually starting to use this in classes and as supplemental material to facilitate these exact skills.
Mm-hmm.
And they start at age 12.
Yeah, see?
Like, you knew exactly developmentally. Good job. Good job.
There's not a lot of things I'm great at. Well, I'm good at a lot of things. That's a whole nother. Let me backpedal a little bit. I'm passionate about education, and I'm passionate about like helping children reach their full potential.
Mm-hmm.
And so like it all just connected when you were saying it. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that other experts agree with me.
Social emotional learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, social emotional learning is the school of thought with all of this. So
It's so important. Like you said, you can't pick up a book and read to learn how to be to learn these kind of skills.
no.
So no, it's so important.
So assuming a role and experimenting with alternate views, identities, and perspective lies at the heart of how games like Dungeons and Dragons and other role-playing games have the potential to foster social emotional learning skills, including empathy and self-awareness. Another quote, good players must act not according to one's own disposition, but to that of the character, whose experiences are almost certainly totally different. So you may know that the smart thing to do in this situation, smart strategic thing, is to not go through that door, but your character is inherently, they're curious. And so in order to make the experience true, you're going to go through that door, even though you know that it's not how you would do it. So it's literally teaching empathy, teaching how to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. So the characters may be fictional, but playing them requires a cognitive and emotional investment that is rooted in the player's real psychological life. Students can try on different ways of being and safely push boundaries that may normally limit them in their day-to-day life. Okay. So another quote is, in a real sense, you become the character you play. When your character is threatened with death, it gives you a jolt. In almost every adventure, someone dies, and you can see the excitement pass through the room. Things get real fast, unlike video games.
Right.
Video games, the character, you get an extra life, you get to start over. In this, when your character dies, you create a whole different character, and that character is not coming back; they're gone.
That's a good way of teaching consequences too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you like what you're doing. You're having fun with this. Don't mess up.
Well, no, but that's one of the things. Again, as an educator, research has come out about video games and how it can affect growing minds' understanding of consequences, because there's always the ability to restart. There's always the ability to have another life to have. And so in something like this, where the consequence of a character dying is the character is gone,
mm-hmm.
it drives home that point a little more.
Mm-hmm. So I say all that, get through all that. We've had the history. We've had the nerddom. We've had the psychology about the nerddom. There's other role-playing games that exist besides that. They exist in the Star Wars universe, in the Star Trek universe, and it lets players explore universes. What's the word I'm looking for other than universe? The word it was escaping me when I was writing this, and I couldn't come up with it now either. Different, we'll say universes. Then there's a little more silly one that I came across. It's called Boss Dragons and Scrambled Eggs.
Sure. I can't. I just snorted. I just tried to come up with. I can't. That's a good name.
Yeah. Do you know what it is?
No.
The Frasier RPG.
Boss Dragons.
Boss Dragons and Scrambled Eggs.
Got it.
Okay. So there's this. It's a free download that this guy wrote. It's one episode, quote, prepared for players. Players choose a character from the 90s sitcom Frasier.
Oh, I want to be Roz.
I knew. I was like, she's going to have a character right away that she would want to be. Okay, so you choose a character, and you roleplay as that character who is thrust into a medieval fantasy adventure.
Oh, Roz would dig it. Seriously, she could find the love of her life there.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to be thinking about this all night now.
And then each
I'm glad I
character...
didn't pick Niles.
So each character is given stats based on their TV personality. So I told this to some of my coworkers, okay? And I told them, I'm like, I didn't ever know I wanted to do this until now. Like, this sounds like a ton of fun. Like, so
Well, we've watched all of Frasier.
we
We've
watched
seen
all
every
of Frasier.
episode.
We've seen it, yeah. So it was like, I had no idea that I wanted to role play Niles Crane trying to barter with a little swamp
Niles?
with a little swamp creature over a sensible pair of slacks. Like, how hilarious does that sound?
Would you really pick Niles?
No, I'd pick Frasier.
I know you'd pick
I would
Frasier.
pick
I knew
Frasier.
you'd pick Frasier.
I'd pick Frasier all day long. Not because I like him the best, because I think that I know him the best.
Yeah, well, like I said, we watched every episode. And every episode of Cheers. Like, we really know that character.
We really know that character. So, yeah.
Oh, I kind of want to be Martin.
One of my coworkers called Eddie right away.
Oh,
And I was
Eddie.
like, yeah. And I was like, I can't hate that answer. I don't know that he exists in this game, but that would be funny.
If you haven't watched Frasier, Eddie's the dog.
Eddie's the dog. And got the most fan mail of any cast member on the show.
He was the only one that didn't do stupid things ever. He was just Eddie.
He was just Eddie. It was great.
Well, there you go.
So there you go.
That was a heck of an episode for season 2 to begin on.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed it. You can expect something in the future. When I say that, we're not sure exactly what we're going to do on each episode. We don't have a set topic. We don't have anything really prepared ahead of time, weeks in advance. So if you...
10 minutes in advance.
10 minutes in advance for some of us. So what I'm saying is, if this was or was not your thing, listen to other episodes. You might find something you like even more than what you just heard. So
yeah, definitely. We are definitely like one of those 3 tastes before you make a decision kind of thing.
Totally, yeah.
Because all of the episodes are super different.
And I'm realizing now, something we haven't said, if there's an episode that you know that like, oh, my friend would really like this one episode, send it along to him. That's part of the reason why we do them in episodes. And we want to make sure that they are all a little bit different. Everybody has different tastes, and we want to recognize that.
Yep. So share us with friends. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. We're on lots of different platforms. Everybody should be able to listen.
Yes, absolutely.
So thank you.
Thank you. Take care, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.
Bye.